Hi, this is Brian Wiklendt. I'm lead counsel with Garfinkel Schwartz. I've done this several years, and what I'd like to do is give an update to our contractor friends in terms of what's going on for the new year. My office is the main office is in Maitland, Florida, which is a suburb of Orlando. Right now I'm at Rome's Flavors, one of my favorite restaurants here in Winter Park. And the coolest part about Winter Park, Florida, is that everyone's from other countries. And so, we've met so many people that speak different languages, and it almost feels like I'm, skirting across the globe like I tend to do, because we represent people from other countries and all across America. We're not limited to representing people in Florida. Let me just get right down to it. Let's just start with North Korea, which is obviously the biggest threat, in my opinion, and the most important thing to talk about. I'm just basically going to talk about the list of places that U.S. troops are currently located, which means that usually speaking, up to 3 times the amount of troops end up being supported by local overseas contractors. So if there are 10,000 troops in a spot, you're going to assume that there's going to be about 30,000 overseas contractors, which is who we help when they get injured in some way and they have to come back home for treatment. North Korea, I'm sure you've heard a lot about North Korea through the president and what the leader of North Korea has been doing and threatening against the United States. I apologize for having to read some of this stuff, but it's pretty much something that I can't really ad-lib because these are facts that come from the internet and come from our sources. So I want to make sure that I'm not ad-libbing and not giving you accurate results. What you need to know about North Korea is they've been testing missiles from 2016 and all throughout 2017, and obviously that's a big alarm signal that comes off, and everyone is kind of ready and waiting to see what happens. So these things are pretty serious, and I take them very seriously. Of the 23 total missile launches, 4 that North Korea have done have failed. Others has succeeded to the point that they've hit a radius outside the Korean peninsula. It's estimated that North Korea has 10 to 16 nuclear weapons at their disposal. For your information, this area where they're testing these missiles includes Japan, Guam. Guam is a U.S. territory, and U.S. Navy vessels operating in the Pacific Ocean. North Korea has a massive military force of 1.2 million troops, and actually most of the citizens that live there have to serve in the military at some point. North Korea is also very poor. Its people are starved. They have no basic human and civil rights in that country, and which causes them to be a very volatile potential adversary to the United States. As of December 13th, 2017, which is a week ago, according to the Voice of America and the Washington Post, 58 U.S. military officials urged against military action in North Korea. But on December 20th, which was yesterday, The Guardian reported that South Korea, in order to cease tensions due to the pending Olympic Games, suggested that it not carry out military drills in the United States and in South China Sea. That doesn't mean that we're not in danger for the future. North Korea keeps pushing and threatening and testing missiles despite UN Security Council requests to cease, and despite suggested meetings with the U.S. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson as of last week. Today, December 21st, according to Reuters, a North Korean soldier encroached on South Korean borders in what's described as a defection, meaning that the borders are very volatile right now. Our favorite resource is the Global Conflict Tracker, which I've mentioned over the last couple of years. I've used that since 2015 to gather information to help overseas contractors. South Korea, according to the Global Conflict Tracker, has 630,000 troops ready near North Korea in case something comes up. Right now, the Global Conflict Tracker reports that the United States has more than 23,000 troops in in South Korea, getting ready for combat in North Korea. And we'd like to reiterate that our civilian contractors that we've gathered in terms of our research is now probably even closer to a 4-to-1 ratio than a 3-to-1 ratio in terms of the number of overseas contractors versus military troops that will be needed in the Korean conflict should it arise at some point in 2018. We know from talking with our clients that there's a very high demand for civilian contractors around the world and overseas in high-risk, dangerous zones, including Korea. We hope you never have to face an injury, but if you're traveling to one of the dangerous zones that I've described, including the Korean conflict, you need to be prepared for the challenges that lie ahead. You need to know what the process to follow, that you're covered under the Defense Base Act, and that if you're physically or mentally harmed, you need to know what options you have, because a lot of times the employers are not going to tell you what your options are, especially under U.S. federal law, even if you're not an American citizen. Again, I'm Brian Wiklendt, lead counsel with Garfinkel Schwartz. I'm available anytime, day or night, to talk to you. Feel free to visit my website. And good luck in your future endeavors. Stay safe, be prepared for the new year, and I look forward to talking to you about anything and any troubles you might run into. That's what I'm here for. Otherwise, good luck, be safe, and I hope you don't ever have to talk to me. Thank you. Take care.